Good morning. Welcome to
Family Math number 17.
Whoa, whoa. I almost got bonked. Okay, today we're going to talk about imaginary numbers. This is a really fun thing, and most kids don't see imaginary numbers until they're much older. So this is going to be a really fun day. Okay, fun thing to talk about. Okay, so before we talk about imaginary numbers, we have to talk about multiplying two numbers together, or squares. We've talked about squares before, right? So can you tell me what 3 times 3 is?
It's 9.
9. Good job. And what is 4 times 4? Do you know?
16.
16. Awesome. Now here's a tricky one. Some people, have a hard time. -1 times -1. What is that? Do you know?
1.
1. Ooh, interesting. And how about -10 times -10, or -10 squared? What does that equal? Do you know?
100.
100. And last, 0 times 0. 0 times 0. 0. 0 times 0 is 0. And the interesting thing that we notice is all of these numbers are positive. All of these are positive. Can you hand me that sheet of paper that fell down over there? Keep going, keep walking right there. Thank you. So all these numbers are positive. Now, that means that when we have numbers that we normally know about, x, any number x times any number x equals, either positive or 0. I guess I shouldn't have said those other numbers were positive. None of them were negative is what I meant. Because 0 times 0 is 0, and 0 is not positive. So x squared, which equals x times x, is always positive, or unless x is 0, then the thing is equal to 0, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to just invent a number, and we're going to call it I. And I is going to have the special property that I times I is -1. And that is what's called the imaginary number. And the imaginary number just has this one very simple property, that I squared, which is I times I, equals -1. And that's the only thing we know about it. Okay?
Yeah.
So it turns out to be a really important number. So, first thing I just want to show you, remember, I squared equals -1. That's the only thing we know. Okay? What do you think I plus I equals? What would make sense for I plus I to equal? 7? I plus I.
The square root of -1.
What happens when I take one apple and I add another apple? What do I get?
2.
2 apples. So what do you think I get when I take I plus I?
2i.
2i. So it just adds together like anything else. How about what do you think 4i plus 6i equals?
10i.
10i. Very good. And what do you think I minus I equals?
0.
0. That's interesting. So our number will just add just like it's a normal number, or just like it's an apple, or anything like that. Multiplying is a little strange, but that's okay. And the way, because it multiplies to equal -1, the way most mathematicians think about this, you remember our number line, where we have a 0 here, and a 1, and a 2, and a -1, and a -2, like that?
Yep.
This is called the real line. The way mathematicians think about the imaginary number is they make another line that's perpendicular here. That goes up and down. So we have the real numbers that go this way and the imaginary numbers that go up and down. So this point over here, you have to go up 2 to get 2i, and then over 1 to get the number 1. So people are going to write this as the number 1. Oops, I made my 1 look like a little bit like an I. 1 plus 2i. So you write it out in a grid like this. Kind of like graph paper. You ever seen graph paper before? You never have? You have? Okay. So this is actually pretty interesting. Now, I could teach you about how this multiplies and everything, but what I want to show you is it comes up in some really, really cool places in math, and things that you'd never ever would even think imaginary numbers would come up in. Okay, so the first thing is it's used a lot in physics. Are you ready to see one of the craziest equations you'll ever see in your whole life? Mm-hmm. Are you ready for this? This is called Schrodinger's equation. Schrodinger's equation. And Schrodinger's equation talks about how little tiny particles move, like electrons and protons, and what's even smaller than an electron or proton. Do you know?
No.
No? Have you ever heard the word quark?
Yes.
Yeah? Have you?
I thought a quark was 600 times heavier than an electron.
I don't know. Not sure. Okay, but here's the equation. I times this funny number h bar. Wow, h bar? ddt v. This is all this crazy letters. That's why I said this is one of the craziest equations you're ever going to see.
Probably just an upside down triangle square.
Right. What? Plus, I got to write down here, v of rt times. What? This is the equation? What? I h bar ddt phi minus h bar squared upside down triangle squared. This is how, this is called Schrodinger's equation, and it talks about how particles move. But it's actually about how particles move, and they move around and they make little waves and everything, but it has an I in it. So it's talking about real things. Real things like this is called quantum mechanics. And it has an I in it. I wonder why. Isn't that strange? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Schrodinger's equation is crazy. Upside down triangle. What? I wonder what all that means. Now let me show you something else where I comes in a way that's really surprising.
Another crazy equation?
No, this isn't a crazy equation. 1 plus 1 over 2 squared plus 1 over 3 squared plus 1 over 4 squared plus dot, 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 dot. This is pi squared over 6. Come over here. 1 plus 1/4 plus 1/9 plus 1/16 plus 1/25 plus all the way on forever adds up to pi squared over 6.
Where's I?
Yeah, where's I in this?
It's pi.
The kind of math that you learn when you study I teaches you how you add up this infinite series and get pi squared over. You just have regular numbers. 1/1, 1/4, 1/9, 1/16, and you get pi squared over 6. Isn't that crazy? Crazy.
Is that an awesome equation involving I?
And the last thing I'm going to show you is there's a very special number other than pi, and it's called E.
Yeah.
E is Euler's number. Euler's number. And we have this amazing equation that says E, and by the way, Euler's number is about 2.718, dot, 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 dot. E to the pi I plus 1 equals 0. Whoa.
E to the pi I is -1.
Whoa. Well, I'm going to write it like this. E to the pi I plus 1 equals 0. Do you want to know what's really neat about this equation? You want to know what's really cool about this equation?
What?
This has an E in it, a pi in it, an I in it, a 1, and a 0. So it has 5 numbers. E, pi, I, 1, and 0. Okay? And those are the 5 most important numbers in mathematics. Can you believe that? And they're all together in one equation. Do you know what that means?
It's awesome.
Well, yes, it means it's awesome. But it means they're all friends with each other. All these E, pi, I, 1, and 0. They're all related to each other in this amazing way. Can you believe that? Mm-hmm. And you know about 0, right? What do you know about 0?
1 minus 1 is 0.
1 minus 1 is 0. You know about 1, right? Mm-hmm. We don't really know too much about E, pi, and I, although you learned about I today. I only has one property. What is it?
It's I squared is -1.
I squared is -1. I only has that one property, but it has this other equation. E to the pi I plus 1 equals 0. Whoa. Can you believe that? Whoa. So imaginary numbers are really neat. And most people don't really start studying them until maybe they're in college or anything like that. And some of the neatest courses you would ever take are learning about these imaginary numbers. So that's kind of fun. I just wanted to tell you about this number, and someday we'll learn a lot more about it. Okay?
Yep.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Okay, high five. Bam! Okay, let's go eat pancakes.